Hey there, tech fans. Rick here again with another Gadget Friday. And man, have I got a cool gadget for you today that I use around the house all the time. Now, take a quick look at this. Your first impression might be, okay, big deal, it's a tablet. Rick, we all have tablets. We've got a tablet. Our kids have tablets. We're pretty sure the dog's got a tablet. Well, it's not a tablet. I'm going to tell you what it is in a second, but I want to give you a little background on it because I love technology like this that's based on things that were invented back in the 1800s, and it's sad that we forget sometimes where that technology came from and how it shows up in newer technology today. So it's probably one of the lowest tech products I'm going to review during these Gadget Fridays because it doesn't take batteries, you don't have to charge it, you can't plug it in, it's really basic technology, but in a lot of ways it's a very clever application of this particular technology. So it was invented, the core technology behind this was invented by a gentleman named Augustin Fresnel. Now, if you're a nerd like me, that last name Fresnel, light bulbs should be going off because it has to do with lensing. So Fresnel was a gentleman who was a civil engineer and he was a physicist, and he studied the properties of light and optics. He was really into optics, trying to understand how you can focus a beam and how you can make lenses a little bit better and make them more improved. And back in those days, the lighthouses were really a big deal because ships were kind of coming into port, and if it got foggy or stormy out there, the lighthouse could save a lot of lives. And the problem they had with lenses back then was for you to focus a lens, you needed a gigantic piece of glass to focus that lens into a tiny little beam so that lighthouse could throw it out across the water. So what Fresnel did was he sat down and figured out the principles behind how a lens works and designed a brand new style of lens that was flatter and actually did the same job with way less material and was way lighter. So he completely revolutionized the way lighthouses were built at the time. And it was interesting too because he not only studied the hardcore technology of making it happen in a product, but he also talked about particles versus waves for light propagation. And he was one of the first people that was brave enough to actually come out with the wave theory for light, which is something we use today. But at the time, it was super controversial because, again, he wasn't one of the renowned physicists out there, and he was coming up against all these big shots in the market. And what I love so much about it is when you think about those times, back in the 1800s, the technology at that point was really low key. It was really very basic stuff, but all the people that were working together on this, he was a Frenchman, he was a good friend of Ampere. Now that name should ring a bell because if you think about electronics, when you're charging something, you're always asking how many amps does it throw out? Well, Ampere, that's what it's based on. So he was the guy who really studied current flow and direction of current flow and those type of things. So imagine living at a time where you've got Fresnel, you've got Ampere, you've got other mentors around them that are older, that are inventing all kinds of cool things. So for me as a nerd, I just love the history of that. And Fresnel would have been lost to history, but what he did with that lens initially was to sort of build a lens that could focus a beam and could throw it way downfield in a very focused beam. But that application also applied in the other direction for magnification. And that's exactly what this does for you. So when I was a kid, we used to get comic books, right? I'd read Richie Rich and Archie and all the comic books as a really young kid. And when you flip to the back pages on those comic books, there were all those ads for things that were too good to be true. So there were those tiny little seahorses. They had X-ray specs you could put on and actually see through pants. And this was in there, a gigantic Fresnel lens. It was a large sheet of plastic, basically, that you could hold over something and magnify tremendously. And what this company's done is taken that concept of Fresnel lens and applied it to kind of a fold-up little product that you can use for a ton of different things. Now, it's marketed as, curiously, as a way to amplify or magnify a small phone. So the way this is pitched is you put your phone in the back of it, you set up the lens in front of it, and it makes it 10 times larger. So the way they advertise it, and this is what I love about the ads, they advertise it as having a widescreen TV just using your phone. Now, of course, it doesn't work that well for that, but it's not bad. I mean, if you're home and you're trying to watch one of my YouTube videos on your phone and your eyes aren't that great because you're old like me, you could put your phone in there, set up the lens, and get a pretty good picture of it, especially in a dark room. But what I found is there's so many other uses for it that I used it for that just to have a little bit, a little giggle about does it work or doesn't it work, and it works pretty well. But in addition to that, I found so many other uses that I'll explain in a minute. So essentially what you get is a really nice carrying case that folds up. You get a little sun shield with it, and here's the lens. Now, what Fresnel did, which was really unique at the time, is he took a standard conventional lens, which I'm showing you now, and he figured out that the only part of that that really needs to be in the lens is the very top edge. So that very top edge, that curvature, is what focuses the light coming in on a central point in the bottom. And the same thing for refracting it out, so you can actually amplify things the other direction. But that focusing effort was really at the edge of that lens. So what he did was to say, well, wait a minute, if I cut out little sections of that edge and flatten that and reverse them, can I focus it on a flat beam? And that's exactly what he did. So this second diagram I'm showing you now is what he came up with as a concept, and then ended up with that Fresnel lens. And that's exactly what I have in front of me here, is basically a flat piece of plastic that's got concentric rings cut into it that have perfect angles to take all the light hitting it, in this case from behind it, and sending it out and amplifying it, or I should say focusing it in a wide beam this way. So it's brilliant, and I know it seems super simple, but I'm telling you, I use it for a lot of different things. So initially, you can put your phone behind here, and it'll basically amplify the image on your phone. So if you want to watch something, and again, I know you probably have a widescreen TV at home that's gigantic, but this is kind of a cool way to do it for the kids. If you put a phone back there, it magnifies that phone tremendously. And this is the same technology, by the way, that was used 20 or 25 years ago when all of us had those gigantic rear projection TVs that had 3 guns in the back of light that would shoot them up at a lens. The Fresnel lens was on the front to sort of focus that a little bit. But here it works pretty well there. And they give you a nice little cardboard sun shield that you can set up next to it if you need to. If you're in a light room like this, you set this up and it gives you a pretty good picture. But what I use it for more than that is I'm a little older and my eyes are starting to go, and I can't understand how manufacturers decide that that should be the size of a manual that they give you with a piece of technology. And I've got to put on reading glasses and then a second pair of reading glasses and sometimes a third pair of reading glasses to be able to focus on that tiny little writing. Well, guess what? This is perfect. So I can sit here and I can read this without any issues whatsoever behind here, and it takes 30 seconds to set it up, 10 seconds to set it up, and I'm reading the manual. So I use it for that an awful lot. I also use it when I'm working on electronics, because when you're soldering tiny little components like this, you've got to be really careful that when you're soldering, you don't get a solder bridge to the connection next to it, or you don't have any slop on there. So I can actually stand up electronics behind here completely hands-free, and I can solder to it. Now, I know you can get gigantic magnifying glass lenses and such, and you can get those little hands that hold it, and I have all that stuff as well, but I like this because it's quick to set up, it's easy to use, and it's a really wide screen over here that magnifies everything behind it. So that's another good use for it. Another use that we found, which is wonderful, is if you've got kids at home, especially younger kids, all of us get splinters. And nobody likes taking a splinter out. And if Dad's got to take the splinter out, I want to see exactly where the splinter is so I don't take those tweezers and pinch his little finger to get the skin in there. So putting a finger behind here and Dad working on this side, I've got this gigantic finger now that I can see from that side that's huge. And I can easily get in there with a tweezer, grab that splinter, pull it out, and nobody's crying at that point. So for me, it's a cool little device. It's not terribly expensive, but it's one of those things that you probably wouldn't buy yourself. It's probably not something you're thinking, oh man, I got to get Amazon tonight and I got to get me one of those Fresnel lenses. I got to get that thing ordered. But I'm telling you, if you get it, put it up on a bookshelf, put it in your office somewhere. There's going to come a time in the next 2 weeks where you're going to go, man, I got to read this manual and I can't possibly see that print there. Wait a minute, I got the Fresnel lens. Let me go get that thing, and you're going to use it. Or, you know, heaven forbid, one of the kids gets a splinter and you got to get it out. Great way to go with it. So for me, it's a cool little device. Again, it's a gadget. It's nothing technology related, nothing high tech or anything about it. But what I want to try to do with these Gadget Friday clips is show you things that are a little unique that I use all the time, and I've recommended to friends and they love them. So I guess they're friend tested, if that's even a term, where it works for me, it works for my friends, and I think it might work for you. So anyway, that's what I've got today. I'll put a link below if you want to check this out on Amazon. There are a lot of companies that make this. I like this one because it comes with a nice case that folds up. It's got the little cardboard thing on the top that I can put over it, so if it's a very light room, I can darken it a little bit to see what I'm doing. But again, I'll give you a link. You can go check it out on Amazon if you want. And that's pretty much it for today. So again, I hope you guys are enjoying these clips. I'm sorry I missed last Friday. We just had a really busy week with travel, but I'm promising I'm going to stick to the Friday schedule to try and have one of these up every Friday. And I've got a ton of really cool stuff that I'm going to be talking about coming up. So if you're enjoying this, subscribe to the channel, hit that button down there, and that way you won't miss any of our clips. But make sure you stop back on Fridays because I'm trying to keep this interesting. I'm having a lot of fun talking about the gadgets that I play with. And I know I'm coming across as a super nerd, but I'm telling you, if you've watched the clip this long, you're a super nerd too. So welcome to the club. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks again for watching. And until next time, stay nerdy.